Let's do it. Calling to order the February 9th Parks and Recreation Advisory Board meeting. May we please start with the roll call?
Yes, Aaron Angel, not here. Scott Conlon.
I am here.
Sarah Flynn.
Here.
Sam Libby.
Not present
Not present.
yet.
Hannah Mulroy. Attending
Here.
virtually. Nicholas Novello.
Here.
Brandy Bradshaw Reyes.
Here.
All right.
And Sean McCoy, not present.
That's right. Great. All right, so for this month's agenda, we have 2 new business items. First one I'm really excited about, annual reports. Can't wait to hear all about it. And then we're going to go into the budget, and we have a handout to help guide us as we're thinking through it. Any adjustments we want to make to the agenda now? Are you okay with the way it looks? Okay. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as is?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as is.
Scott, is there a second?
I'll second.
All right. All those in favor? I'm looking at the hand raise function. I'm testing the group. Okay, great. That's unanimous. Okie dokie. All right, let's move on to approval of previous month's minutes. Are there any amendments you want to make to the previous month's minutes?
The fact that I'm in it.
So there's an adjustment.
There's an adjustment, yeah.
Scott was not present, so you adjust that,
Yeah.
Scott, from the roll call from last month. Okay. That being said, is there a motion to move to approve previous month's minutes as amended?
I'll make a motion to approve previous month's minutes as amended.
Great. Is there a second?
I can second.
Okay, 9 seconds. All those in favor? All right, great. Everybody, we're good there. All right, next is public invited to be heard. Do we have any public invited to be heard for this month?
There is no public present.
All right, that's okay. Thank you. Old business, no old business. So we can move right ahead to new business, the annual reports review. And I think we have 2 presenters. Who's going first?
I am.
All right.
Yep. Alright, so hit share.
Hit share. And hit the screen, entire screen, because then you can just make it small. And then, yeah. And then go up 2 slides. I don't know why it keeps skipping down in your slides.
So once we start there, I guess. There we go. Alright, so I can minimize this.
Hannah and Brandy, can you see our screen?
Perfectly, yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. So this month you're starting with Parks half of pros. And I'll be kicking off the Parks and Forestry Division overview. I'm Ben with Parks, the superintendent of Parks and Forestry. I got to chat with all of you a couple months ago. That was nice to go over our operations a little bit more in depth. But for this month, it's kind of like last year. I wasn't in this role last year. I think Brett presented in the absence of a superintendent last year. But if you remember, here's a quick overview of our current mission and vision statements. I won't bore you with reading those all, but funny enough, we had a talk this morning about updating these, but
Well, you can't just leave us with that, please. Anything that you can share on amending the mission and vision?
I think the big thing is, since I've been here, we've been natural resources, we've been parks and open space, we're in public works.
Uh-huh.
We now have been rejoined as parks, recreation, and open space. And we had to kind of do some work to make sure people felt included, because Parks and Trail Development is not in the title of it, ecosystem management's not in there, but we wanted to do something the public, they recognize who Parks and Rec is, and I think passing an open space ballot measure was important to get the public recognizing we have that. And we do have a lot of, from aquatics to athletics, we have a lot of people that fall under those categories. We had an assistant city manager filling in as interim as our assistant city manager. That in January changed over to Jen Uten. So now we truly have Parks, Recreation, and Open Space under Jen Uten in external services. I feel like we have our feet under us, so now we kind of have a chance to go back and look at how we kind of operate as a true team from groups that were separated. Ben, was it separated when you first got here? Parks and Rec?
Mhm.
So I think everyone's room, we've never been Parks and Rec. So
4 or 5.
Mhm.
so people like Jeff, that this is something that was passionate to him because they were one group. For us, it's really trying to put this group together so we feel like a cohesive team. So that's what we're really kind of talking about, how we take the work that Ben and his group has done, how the work we've done, and try to make something that makes sense for us as a group, but also when we put these up, that makes sense for the community as well. Is that?
That was pretty good. Had a little.
Yeah.
I felt like. Okay, thank you. So
So this is a very Parks and Forestry only
focus mission,
mission.
and we're gonna expand that.
Yeah,
Great.
and vision. There's talks about just leading, by excellence in the Park and Rec world, maintenance, and so we're working on redoing this in some form or another.
More to come on that.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Here's our org charts. Please don't take down our phone numbers and call us after that. No, this is an internal one we use. There's actually 5 slides on this. Talks about each technician and all the certifications they have and what areas of the city they manage, and on other slides. But here's the general overview. This is all of Parks and Forestry full-time staff currently. We do have a supervisor who took the superintendent job in Louisville, so he'll be leaving at the end of the month. So we're going to be rehiring this one, and then there's a vacancy down here which we have posted currently. So how it's broken up, there's 7 zones in the city. Each zone has 3 or so technicians in each one. They manage everything parks related. So here's kind of the pillars, which is horticulture, irrigation, and the facilities. So these are the main objectives of parks. And forestry has a forester and then 4 technicians underneath him. And then Natalie is our amazing wizard at doing anything, analyzing anything we need. So GIS kind of work.
Okay.
Does all the work orders, asset management, all those maps that I showed a couple months ago. She built all that stuff. And so she's currently building a story map of the rose garden over Roosevelt. We're IDing each rose species there. We're going to have tags in each of those beds of which ones they are, and you can actually go online on your phone, pull it up, and you can find the different ones in that area. So
Great.
it'll be a neat coming up. This is an old slide that Timber had made previous to me. There's a lot of text. What's actually interesting is this is a plan out from 24 to 27. He made this in 23. We're obviously now here in 26, and almost none of this has happened due to budget and various things. We didn't get 2 hires that we put in for last year, so we'll probably be putting those in for this year. Contracted dollars instead, I don't know. We're trying to figure that out, but these phases aren't coming this year. Instead, other work is that Stephanie will talk about in a minute. So this is actually outdated, but it was interesting to see what actually happened. A couple of these parts actually got built out, and then others are not being built the next 2 years.
Can I ask Ben? So that's looking ahead to this year that hasn't happened yet, but for 2025 capital improvement projects, are you saying that list as well? I can't. It's hard for me to read. Some of these are right. Gallows.
Yeah, most of these happened. Yes.
Yeah. So
But
okay, so it's not all
Then
all
this
bad.
year,
Yeah.
you know, funding on parks
I see.
kind of got moved around, reevaluated, and then so like, just an example, Clarkson Tenniel is not happening, Dry Creek Phase 2 is not happening.
By not
Is it
happening,
good?
you mean this year.
Right.
This year.
Just let's clarify that.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I mean, that's
this year.
part of this too
Yeah.
is celebrating our wins for 2025, right?
Yeah.
So I think we have to adjust the plan for this year,
Yeah.
but there's things we can look at for last year that we did accomplish, right?
One of the things
City
with this slide though
development.
too that Timber really worked on and Ben is carrying forward too is the fact that it was a commitment with our budget system that's hard to put into the system, that when we build something, we want to make sure we can maintain it. And that maintenance really requires, we get to so many extra acres, park benches, sprinkler heads, that we really need additional staff to do that.
Yeah.
And that's what we're trying to do is we don't want to have surprises. Whenever gets excited about a new park, we want to make sure council, everyone else goes, we got a new park, but we need 2 new staff members to help take care of these 2 new parks and these extra miles of trail and stuff. So it's kind of a no surprises piece too as we move through this.
I see. Actually, makes me think of a question. So, when you receive the additional FTEs, where do you see them slotting in on like the org chart that we just looked at in the previous slide?
Yes, so we're actually reviewing, you know, the structure of parks.
Uh-huh.
So I've only been in this role for 10 months.
I guess where's the most
So,
need?
Yes, so we're gonna try to look at it, you know, overall
Okay.
and reevaluate. Do we need the teams, or is it, you know, still
I
having
see.
zones, but then people just distribute evenly? But as you add things into these, you know, zones that haven't had these big acreages, yeah, we probably have to add people, you know, over there or redraw zones to make it, you know, more even. But
Okay.
that's all part of it as we build out. We got to reevaluate. But then that ties into all the work orders that are tied to the certain zones. So if you add things, you got to redistribute everything. It's a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember the number I had. I think it was like, I don't remember off the top of my head now, 46,000 work orders something last year. So to change all that work is not easy.
Okay.
So usually we just add it in, absorb it, put a person, you know, human in there, and keep rolling, and try to make it work. Because trying to, you know, redistribute everything is challenging. But
So right now, they slide into specific zones is the way it's set up right now.
Yeah.
So where these new parks are slipping
Yeah.
into those
like
zones.
zone 5, zone 7, yeah. So, but yeah, Jeff had asked me to try to reevaluate parks as a whole, and you know how we were structured, and you know I didn't want to bite off, you know, that huge task my first year
Okay.
in this role. So it is coming, but
Okay. So.
yeah,
But you know, I can imagine different zones have different demands at different
Mhm.
times, so that makes sense to have an individual owner.
yeah.
Okay. Well, that sounds like an interesting project.
Oh yeah.
Look forward to hearing more about that.
Yeah, always interesting. So
Okay.
here, I know this is in the way, but basically just the end of the year, calendar year months. But basically, parks is broken up kind of into quarters, but really our main work is first 3 months, and then our summer months, which are April through October. This is kind of October, and then the last 3 of the year. This is not a list of everything we do. This is, you know, kind of the main, you know, high level things.
Mhm.
Different parts of the year. The middle of the year is really just keeping everything running. You know, everything, all your irrigation working. You know, parks are all mowed, trash is emptied, restrooms are cleaned, and the outer edges are planning months, review months. So a lot of snow removal. You know, on this level, it's evaluating contracts, renewals, budget items,
Okay.
stuff like that. So,
Okay.
and this is just a more narrow calendar of that one work group. But accomplishments this year, I did a lot more hand-in-hand work with Stephanie's group on big projects and other projects around the city, like Isaac Walton over here, doing that reach from basically from Boston, Left Hand Brewery up here to Sunset. So coordinating with project managers on reviewing plans and adding input on irrigation pumps and restroom remodels, all those type of things. So this year we were involved in Thompson Park Renewal, Nino Gallo, Isaac, Fox Meadows, Cobra Meadows, Dry Creek, the courtyard at the museum, because Parks actually manages the outside landscaping there at the museum. Kaufman, after that was finished, Parks inherited all the landscape maintenance of Kaufman in between what's finished now, which is 2nd all the way to 9th. And then some other projects that aren't associated with the city, but that Parks has to actually review their plans as well. And then the cooling zones, which Stephanie will talk about, and then the Price Park water tank up there. We consulted on that work as well. So that's, of course, we did a lot more other day-to-day operations, but this is high level, big projects we were involved with this year.
Can I just ask, was that all, just curious, were there contractors involved for some of these, or these was?
It's contractors, it's Stephanie's work group,
I see.
Parks, actual technicians, me, supervisors, it's all just
Okay.
giving input on different parts of the project. Yeah.
Okay,
Go
great.
ahead, Hannah.
I just want to make a quick comment. It was on the last, maybe one of the last, that's what, just the Garden Acres lighting project.
Yep.
I know whether it's appropriate or not, but since I work for LPC, I just wanted to let this group know, Parks has been doing a really good job of seeking out like incentives and talking, not just Parks, but the museum, rec center, other things, library, other buildings too in the city, seeking out like energy efficiency assessments and rebates from the city. I happen to have just reported in the sustainability indicators. I'm responsible for some of them, but Garden Acres, the lighting project alone, got $25,000 in incentive rebate dollars, and it's estimated to save about 11,000 kWh a year, so that's about the same as 15 homes, average homes in the city of Longmont. So I know that's a little bit outside of perhaps purview, but I just want to say like kudos on pursuing those, and that I've heard you're going to do some more projects, so that's really exciting.
Yep. It's actually 2 slides ahead of this one.
Okay, great.
It's,
Yeah, awesome.
Garden Acres project.
Yeah,
So,
great.
Well, good. Sorry
Yeah,
to
nice
jump again,
job.
but I was
Yeah,
just,
no.
I
Yeah.
just happened to repeat that.
yeah, nice little
Thanks.
softball lob there.
Yeah.
But, any questions?
No, please.
On this?
continue.
So, couple other big projects. DXI controllers. This is out here on the left. It's upgrading all of our controllers that manages all of our irrigation. So everything's online. We actually access it on a phone app. So and we actually get alerts of any issues with those systems. So part of this TIP project that's been rolled now for I think over 10 years is upgrading every one of these clocks. So you can see for $77,000 we did only these clocks here. So it's quite pricey, but it saves water in the end, which is valuable, and staff time with not having to go out there physically to these systems. So this is ongoing. We have a list this year as well that we're developing. So we're trying to get all of our clocks renewed. That's a big piece of this project. And then
I have another question. I'm
Yep.
sorry, I'm
Go ahead.
peppering you with a lot.
no,
Does the DXI irrigation app provide like numbers on what was conserved and like what it saved?
yeah, actually it's tied with a meter. it'll tell you how many gallons
Yeah.
you've used. You can look year over year.
I'd love to
So-
maybe 2026 review.
Uh-huh.
It'd be great to look at some of those numbers about what was did the investment pay off
Yep.
and what's the
And what's nice
Please
is they have a master valve function. So it's a big valve for the whole system. And if that is leaking, it'll actually alert you on your phone to tell you this system is leaking water, so you can go out and turn it off at least, and not have it run all night or
wasting
however long.
money and sure.
So and we're working also. Side note, we're working hand in hand with a water department here in the city. But they have a cool new system that they track water leaks citywide. So when they get a certain number of gallons per minute leaking, they'll send an alert to business owners, but also the city. So we're going to be going out and proactively tackling those as they come up, not just having water leak for months on end and running down the road and stuff like that. So speaking of that, we tested all of our backflows, 222 of them in the city over this last year. That's an annual process. We had 30 backflows stolen this last year. It was actually an epidemic kind of along the whole Front Range. Tons of cities had them taken randomly, and so they were cutting our whole cages off the backflows.
Do they have
them.
like a precious metal in them or something, like a
Oh yeah,
platinum or something?
yeah, and actually hard to resell because all of them are
Okay,
tagged with a mark, so either they're melting them down or.
whatever.
But-
All right.
So that ended up costing the city $130,000 in insurance money to hire a contractor, have them try to retrofit back what we had existing, and then put cages on. Some of them they ripped the whole concrete pad that's around them. Other ones they went in at night or in the morning and cut the whole system off. But they knew what they were doing because they were taking them this time of year last year when they aren't pressurized with water.
Mhm.
So it was obviously people who knew. And then it's funny because at the end of March we had a couple areas turned on. And they didn't realize that, and they got halfway through cutting it and it started spraying water. So they left them there just spraying water all night. But so they knew what they were doing. But
Did you ever, I remember you getting an email or something about this from the city. Did you ever get any information or leads
No.
or anything? No.
we never had any. So they were also wise in cutting their losses, or
Yeah.
they wouldn't leave and not get caught. But
Mhm.
I haven't heard anything this year. I actually think we had one taken this year already, but it was a small one. So hoping it's a one-off. It's just, but we only had one missing. We check them now every week, part of our rounds. But and then we inspected all of our playgrounds, 39 of them. It's actually a high-level certification that's hard to get. It's a national certification to inspect properly all those playgrounds. And then we replaced a water pump at Santa's Ranch that went down. And that was one that waters our whole 80-acre park, so all the athletic areas. So what was nice is they had that same model rebuilt at their yard. So we were able to contract this company out, swap it out almost in 2 days and have no loss of anything. So got lucky there. But this one's a fun slide here. So here's your Garden Acres lights, as Hannah had mentioned. So last year we did one field, it cost $175,000. But that was totally retrofitting all the existing light poles with LED. And Hannah, maybe you know, but I can't remember the exact dollar amount of savings per month that the LPC saw on this, but it was an amazing number, and so it's well worth it. But so we're looking at how do we do all of our ball fields, all of our tennis pickleball, hockey rinks, anything that has lights on them, because they run, public's able to push them on, and they run till parks close at either 10 or 11 p.m. But so working on more of these. So I'll be in touch with Hannah and her work group. We resurfaced the tennis courts at Talter Park at the end of last year, and then we also redid there's like a half wall, or that's there to like practice against. We redid that. So we hired out all of our restroom cleaning, all 65 park restrooms. So we had 7,936 cleanings at 118,000 for the whole year. So that's $14.80 per restroom. So if you break it all down, you think, wow, that's an incredible amount of money, but it's also extremely cheap.
Yeah.
When technicians are, a lot more per hour than that.
Mhm.
So we'll be redoing that this year. Quotes are out and due back next week. We'll be renewing this. This is what's fun. Oh, this is the wrong slide deck. Anyway, I have it all up here memorized. Anyway, so we removed trash in all of our parks at $208,000. That's all the labor from technicians removing trash. 710,000 gallons. So that's 1,065,000 pounds of trash, which is 533 tons, or 351 Nissan Leafs, or 650 African elephants, or 3 fully loaded Boeing 737s. So
You had that all on the top of your head. Wow,
I did.
You feel it's like
So,
It's pretty good.
because people see the number, you're like, I don't know what that number means, but
sure.
it's a lot of trash. So I'm actually asking our team about, how can we reduce the number of hours but still have our parks be clean? Can we strategically remove some cans out there so we have less cans, which equals less hours of driving around, because currently we don't know if they're full or not. So part of these hours are driving and looking in a can, is there trash in it or not?
Nice.
And so a lot of these hours is just driving all over, trying to.
And we get
find these-
complaints constantly, there's not enough trash cans out there. And
Yeah.
there's a little bit of, that pack it in, pack it out, but
Mhm.
in urban areas, people have an expectation. If they don't have a can close, they just drop it. So that's the
Yeah.
the other piece of it too. And the numbers are amazing. I mean, the downtown area, they really want more trash cans too, but just in that one zone who has multiple parks, just the DD of that main street is 59 trash cans.
I would not even.
Yeah.
Scott.
Well,
Yeah.
I was gonna say, how are the big bellies performing?
Do you want
are
to
they
talk about
worth
that, Ben? Or
that price tag?
Yeah.
I think that was just that it was in the national news.
I will not be renewing the contract at the end of next year, because we've been treating them as just other cans, because we're already emptying all the ones that are near them.
Oh, yeah. So
So
you're
we
at
just
the park.
check them anyway and empty them anyway, because if you don't empty them, then they can packed and they get heavier and heavier.
Yeah.
And then they tear and try to lift them.
Yeah.
The app, it doesn't really work all that well. There's an app that tells you how full they are.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You can set parameters. Staff doesn't use it; they just go out and do their rounds.
Mhm.
And since they're there, they empty them.
Mhm.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to
So,
skip
yeah.
one and then come back the next day, get
Uh-huh.
the big belly because you got a notification. They treat it like a regular trash can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's currently it's almost 40 grand a year for. I think we have 13 of them.
Yeah. Wow.
So we could definitely use that money elsewhere, and and not pay this
Yeah.
that
That makes sense.
rental at least. But and then there's ton of numbers. All facilities work orders, 7,000 hours of labor. Even higher tag on that. And then vandalism. We had 343 hours of labor last year. But this number is pretty high because that's the 130 from the
Oh,
back
The
flows,
water
yeah.
backflows. Okay.
Yes. Typically, it's about 42,000 a year, which is about what we've been averaging. So this is
that like broken bathrooms and faucets
Yeah,
and bathroom
people
doors?
burning down parts of our playgrounds and kicking things and smashing in windows and I mean you name it. It's
Doesn't include
yeah.
graffiti though.
No.
Right. That's a
That's
separate.
different.
That's handled by. Okay.
Yeah. And then horticulture has a similar timeline, just a lot of broken out by the times of year. So, like last year, actually, Cobby same one over because it's exactly the same as last year. It's just interesting to look at how many acres. So, just a reference, 1.32 acres is basically a standard football field, and so staff managed 166 acres this year in-house, and then we contract out another 270 acres. But just here's kind of the breakdown of all the different types of work. Irrigation is a huge amount of our work in the summertime. So out of all 380 acres, they have to go through and audit, turn on systems, check that the heads aren't broken, place those if they are, fix lateral lines, all that type of work. So that's all in our parks, greenways, right-of-ways, municipal buildings. Basically, if it's not in the road, golf course, or open space, Parks manages that landscaped area. And then we also contract out a majority of our mowing and weed management, just because it's a huge amount, almost 440 acres. We'd have to have a whole nother 30, team to just mow everything.
Right.
So they help us with that scale of being able to mow all this. So every week, 270 acres is mowed and line trimmed every week, for total for the whole season. And then dryland area, that's once a month. That's like the areas like along greenways that don't have irrigation in them. Landscape beds, so there's almost 1,300 of those. Every other week they go in and either hand pull weeds or spray those weeds. So they help us from April to October every year. So, and we'll be renewing that in this year as well. So, ton of work, kind of hybrid of internal, external, and then forestry. Did a lot of work in-house this year. They also do a hybrid of contracted out and in-house, but this year they're going to do even more in-house. So they're going to be doing all their own EAB treatments this year in-house. They have been hiring that out, but all their staff are getting certified to treat the ash. They'll be doing that this year. But just some examples: big elm pruning downtown area, the extremely challenging task of planting trees down on Main Street. There's everything you can imagine underneath the sidewalk, and you got to plant in a small hole and not hit everything. It's very, very challenging to do. Putting up beaver protection around trees that are near water, because little beavers like to cut down the trees and use them. Arbor Day tree sale we had, same as last year. Amazing praise on that. Recreation helps manage that online lottery for us. Forestry also had 2 other tree giveaways or extremely reduced giveaways in the Lou Miller neighborhood, and then Lanyon neighborhood, part of a county project. And then just here's some cool toys we get to use to remove big trees.
Have you ever seen like the foresters up in the trees? Like we have climbers up there and stuff.
Yeah.
I used to be as a wild biologist. I love like seeing like the bald eagle or the mink or those. Like, now I like spotting like our tree guys like up in a tree. I'm like, you got 3 guys up like walking around in the canopy. I'm like, that is so cool.
Yeah, a tree like this, a huge, beautiful elm. There, he's up in there. Yeah. So, just some numbers. So this is Natalie's handiwork. So she pulls it all together. So 400 trees planted this year, 60 different species, 5 donations. That's just the public saying, hey, I want to buy a tree and plant it in the park. Arbor Day tree sold 350 of those. I think we have that same number this year as well. Gave away almost 100 trees of those giveaways in the neighborhoods. They had 400 calls from the public. Has anything from come help me look at my tree, I think there's an issue with it, to there's a limb down, storm damage, you help, if anything tree related.
On personal property?
Well, no.
Because you said the members of the public.
Yeah, just public, and they don't always know if it's a public.
Oh, okay.
tree.
Got it.
So
All right.
some of those calls are
I see.
figuring that out as well.
That's a big piece that Ben deals with too. We have public trees in public spaces that have to be maintained by the adjacent residents. And we have those public trees in public spaces that overhang private spaces. So forestry's out there a lot trying to help people understand who the ownership is, but also who the maintenance piece is. And again, we're always trying to help out as much as possible.
Yeah, and then you have the ones in downtown area in those big tree lawns that are all city trees. But they look like they're in people's yards.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's what this one basically is right here. This huge tree lawn. And you think it's this property owners, but it's actually the cities. There's a whole. We've mapped all the trees in the whole city as well. So
I was going to say, didn't we looked at that map before?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you're ever interested, it's actually a public-facing map, and you can pull it up and look at it. Yeah.
I have a quick question.
ahead.
So where LPC lines are, the trees that are in them, are those, if they're not on the public way, are those personal trees that then they have to maintain away from lines, or does the city maintain those? I know like a lot of times in Old Town, they closed a bunch of the alleyways, and so there are trees with those power lines that should have a right of way of some sort, but I don't know who. I've always wondered who owned those trees.
I don't know if Hannah knows, but I believe if it's your private tree that's encroaching on those lines, you have to contract out a company that is certified in printing around hazards like that. All of our team of forestry all got that training 2 years ago, so all our public ones, their forestry will actually prune those now.
Oh, okay.
Or at least you have to hire it out, and it's a much higher rate because it's like hazard pay work.
Okay.
So we, train internally to do that work on public ones, but private ones, I think you have to hire out company to come to your house and do that. Yeah.
I don't want to speak out of turn because I'm definitely not like our operations and maintenance person at LBC. But yeah, Ben's right. Like if it's your private property, your tree, it's kind of your responsibility. If it's in the right of way, streets responsibility or our responsibility. I do know we have some like tree maintenance procedures. So because I think we know not everybody manages their own trees, or certain trees are causing more issues than others because they're knocking out the power more often. I do think we have, with permission from owners, some ability to do some tree maintenance as needed. So I think we have we go around town and then kind of start over at the beginning, doing some maintenance.
Yeah. So I'm gonna click on this link, and hopefully it doesn't mess everything up. But this is a story map that GIS team with our forestry staff created. And see if it'll. Can you guys still see this? online?
Yes.
Okay. So this is story map is actually on the city's website as well. If you go to the forestry page, and it basically talks in depth of the year review. It talks about the history of Longmont.
I like that picture.
Yeah, these ones up
In
here.
the tree.
Yeah.
In the tree.
Yeah, fell down. Yeah, come up in this cottonwood. So here's some old pictures. That's how they planted all of Old Main. Pretty wild. Think about the technology we have now with skid steers. With I don't know how they planted these things. And then talks about all of our publicly owned trees, and there's a map online. Talks about municipal code, the tree inventory map, which we've mentioned. That'll pull that up. Talks about if you're going to hire out companies, here's what you need to do. It's a program that the city follows, and here's why you do that. You don't want your tree to look like this. And then just development review processes that forestry helps with. So if you're ever interested in this, it's a whole lot of information. Talks about species distribution in the whole city. Kind of our number top 10 planted trees this last year. Just really interesting information. So I recommend jumping on that. It's on the city's website. You can take a look at it. Really interesting information.
That is interesting. Quick. I saw. Is this slide 17 out of 78?
No.
No.
Okay.
We're almost done.
Just okay. I was like, we're gonna need to.
Yeah,
I
It's
know.
March,
I
so
know.
half of this.
Yeah,
That's why we split you guys up. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's
All right.
a lot.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and
But
I know
yes,
I'm,
it is,
I know
actually.
I'm rambling on, but I promise you this
You're
is
not rambling. It's
Yeah.
my fault
Yeah.
too. You're asking too many questions.
No.
It's
So-
just it's interesting stuff. So you're doing a great job.
Yeah, just goals for this year is this is that program that's with the county. So they're trying to evaluate tree canopy for every city in the county and up everyone's tree canopy coverage. So part of that is finding the areas of Longmont that are disproportionately lower because of whatever reason. It's apartments, townhomes. People don't have the money, and so getting these trees out to these areas, and then also helping them plant them, and then teach them how to water them, keep them alive for decades. And then as our parks are being fully planted out now, this year, a typo, trying to put trees in harder to plant areas, so like Main Street, other rights of way that they have a lot of underground utilities in them, and then just keeping up with our preventive maintenance to the storms. Don't hit those as hard, and then treating those ash in-house this year. So that's it for Parks and Forest.
Oh,
Wrap it
okay.
up.
Oh,
Great.
Yeah.
There you go.
Cool.
It was great. Thank you.
Yep.
I should actually ask. Was there any other last questions from the board before we move on?
So,
Okay.
if you think of something for Beth while I'm presenting, that's okay.
All right.
So I'm Stephanie Cooper. I don't know that I've officially met
No,
you. So
that's
I
not.
am the manager of Parks and Trails Development. So my team here, we're now a full team again. Last year we dipped a little bit, and now we're built back up. All project managers that manage design and construction for trails projects like park renewals and new parks, a lot of CIP projects. So that is our group. And so what we do, so a lot of that work on the front end to finally build the product or repair and renew, and then Ben's team overtakes the maintenance of that. But also, looking at some of that strategic planning, master planning, planning the capital improvement program over the next 5 years. In actuality, we've been kind of doing it through a lens through 2050 just so we can better inform Ben and his team to plan for those pieces that you'll need on the operational side to support that work. So project management, a lot of community engagement. I'll get into some that's coming up soon on some of our project pages, but a lot of community engagement underway. And then also working closely with our sustainability team to create projects that are sustainable, that benefit the community, and we'll highlight some of those projects as we get through. And then just looking at policies, procedures, always trying to improve the process of whatever it is we're doing. And then also lending insight to other advisory committees within our city. We have participation and development review, and I keep looking at you, Sarah, because I feel like I've talked to these guys. But, and just other types of citywide projects. And so we'll lean in and provide our expertise as we can. So at a glance in 25. So in 25, we completed $6.4 million worth of projects. We brought them to a close, and that was the expenses in 25. We have continued committed working capital as we're moving into 26. That's around 10.4 million. So the projects that we completed, and we'll have a slide for these to see what the outcomes were. As a really long list of what we finished in 25, but then almost as long of a list of what we have active that we're moving into 26 with. So get into those. We did use 4 different delivery methods. So design, bid, build, which is our more normal, typical delivery method, but we've really latched onto the best value approach, which is a design build. So it leverages the expertise of the team that you hire, and then it allows us to just take a step back, let them be the experts, and then really get the best value for our dollar. So we'll say, we have this much money, here's what we would like, and here's what we'd also kind of like if we can get it, and then letting those teams really work the project in the best way. So it saves a little time because you can sometimes order things that you need at a longer lead during the latter stages of the design process. So then you're not waiting, going out to bid, and then starting the process that way. Then also using the cooperative purchasing. So we did this with the pre-negotiated federal agreements. We did this with the Quail Rec Center playground, where they had X amount of dollars. We went out to one of these vendors. It was a turnkey effort, and we actually still came in under budget and got everything that they needed. So that was a great opportunity for a very low budget project. And then we used this past year capital funding, federal funding, Boulder County Sustainability Tax Funding, and we got a GOCO grant. So trying to look for money everywhere that we can. So in 25, this represents all of our project locations. The yellow star is where construction is complete or construction is currently underway. And the blue star is where design is complete and it's currently moving into construction. So it kind of shows, a nice, well-rounded part of areas of Longmont, knowing that in 24 we completed Clover Meadows Park and Dry Creek Synthetic Turf. So those were kind of down here in the southwest quadrant. But really just kind of trying to spread it all around. I think most times we have a project in every single park zone.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yep.
Love to see that map. It's great.
Yeah, it was fun to see it, because then you realize if people are like, you're always working in a certain area of town, you're like,
No.
we're actually not, because
No.
we have a lot going on. So we all know Thompson Park was completed this year, and it was a hit. It was a great opening. That park is really busy because of that school across the street and just the neighborhood in general. So we're really happy to see that one get wrapped up. I know that there's a lot of questions about, the timing, and it's hard, like in the winter, sometimes park projects slow way down. You don't know what kind of winter you're going to have. But this one, it finished up in the spring, and I think it was a great time for it to open successfully. Oh, going the wrong way. Fox Meadows was another one. It came later in the spring. And I don't know has everyone been to Fox Meadows now that it's been open? It's a great, beautiful. It's a really nice.
If you haven't, you need to.
Yeah, it's really nice. And they did just replace the zip line swing. It had been used so much that it even exceeded the warranty time that it had to be replaced because it had worn completely. It is so, it's just so popular.
Heavily used. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
The one day I tell my daughter, you should go check out this park, and she gets there, Mom, the swing's gone. And I'm running over to Ben, like, what happened to it? Yeah. But it's fixed now. So this is the Quail Campus playground that we did with the vendor that did a turnkey solution, and they even removed and replaced the port in place and provided a nice little design that's fun for the kids to play on and hop on and pretend they're in the water.
Yeah.
It's a good spot for a little guy that's crawling
I was
around.
gonna say, I add that one to my list.
Yeah.
Well, you gotta be in childcare.
Yeah, and you work out while
Oh.
you drop off.
My daughter loves
Okay.
You're gonna have to
Yeah.
work
Looks
out.
into it.
I guess if I have to.
So we also completed the park cooling. So this is a project to provide cooling amenities in 3 of our parks. So this was a parks project that actually started with the sustainability and the neighborhood community resources team. And they got to a certain point, they did a lot of heat mapping and then community engagement to determine what this community needs in Kensington, Lanyon, and Spangler parks. And then they realized that they needed to know how much this was going to cost and maybe they could use a construction project manager. So that's where my team came in, and this is the one that actually used the ARPA funds, the Boulder County Sustainability Tax Funds, and then phase 2 of Kensington is using the GOCO grant for a splash pad. This has been such a successful project. So we had one contractor and one design team through Best Value Approach do 3 parks. And we said, here's how much money we have, how can we do it, and can we get something in each of the parks? And the goal was to provide shade, community gathering, and when possible, water, some sort of water. So Kensington, you might all recognize the labyrinth that was always in Kensington. So a lot of times the community would have, the neighborhood group would have movie night and everyone would sit on the hill. So what we've done is put in these concrete risers, and then there's enough space back here, A, for mowing, and B, for like blankets and chairs, so you can really spread out. And then the next group of concrete risers, and then some more space, and then additional benches along the back. So you can just go out there. And we also put in a new shelter, so it's up on the hill, so you could have people here, and then in the summer when the trees are leafed out, it's actually pretty shady. Depending on time of day, it just kind of moves across the site. So this is going to be a nice amenity for the community. And then they also wanted a swing set. They didn't have a swing set at their playground in Kensington. So the design team had to bump it out. It's offset because there's a floodplain here, and you can't physically have anything in that line. So they had to move it to the edge of the floodplain. But it has some nice swings, and they match the port-in-place surfacing, and so they got that out of the project.
That's great.
The second one was Spangler, which this was the third one in the group. I'll get to Lanyon after this one. But they got a little shade structure with a picnic table near the playground. So this playground had no shade, and so this is nice for anyone. It's a small shelter, but it's squeaked into the project with the money that we had, and that's what that process could help us with. And then Lanyon, so there they put in a mister station. So that's pretty high. How high would you say that is? 12 or 15 feet?
12, I'd say.
Yeah. And then on the back, so you'll see, here's the playground over here. And then this is before. So we ended up putting it here. So here you can see it under construction. So at the end of the playground now, it's this raised area for sitting, and it says stay cool. You're at 5,023 feet, like elevation. And then these are like little contour lines. But this will spin. So there's a button here you can push, and then it'll spin. And it's just misting. It's not like big water. So it's not pooling. It's just cooling. So we haven't got to try it yet because it was installed in the past month and a half.
Yeah, end of January.
So we're going to be testing it as soon as water can be turned on, middle of April. And so then that'll be up and running this summer. And then in Kensington, I forgot to mention, the phase 2 is the splash pad. So this is going to go over near the restroom building. And we have community engagement session on Saturday the 21st at the Children Youth Center on Lashley from 11 to 1. And they did some canvassing Thursday night, and the youth from the youth center helped. There were 30 kids putting flyers out, and some of our team was there, and Community Neighborhood Resources was there. And so we're expecting anywhere between 30 and 1,000. And then we've done completed some conversions of trail from asphalt to concrete. So there was one section along Spring Gulch 1 which goes from Martin. It's kind of, Martin is up here, and it comes around, and is that Mountain View?
That's nice.
Ninth.
Yeah.
So that section has been replaced, and over here it's actually, it drains better now, and it comes out a little bit and turns, because that's kind of a blind corner with the fence, so some improvements there. And then the second section was 9th down near Rothrock Dell. That was a pretty bumpy asphalt area, so
Yeah.
that is now concrete.
I've had so many neighbors because I would have this one
Uh-huh.
all tell me how
Yeah.
nice it is now.
Well, oh, I'm glad to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
And this one, you know, with the kids going to school, and
mm-hmm.
it was in great need of concrete. And then
Weather at night was bad. On a bike.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Macintosh Lake, the signage around the lake was updated to be with our modern sign standard, as well as reduce the total number of signs. There was a lot. So this is what it used to look like, and every time someone had a thought, they'd add another sign. And so then you have so many signs. This ice fishing and skating is right between the litter, the dog stuff. So we ended up putting in these, and that was completed. It was probably spring.
Mm-hmm.
And then Garden Acres Bridge is now complete. I don't know if you've been over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it got
Since it's
pictures
new.
sent to me, but yeah,
Okay.
sounds good.
It looked
So-
like this. There was plywood over the holes.
Yeah, and the big lip.
Oh
yeah,
my.
it was
And the concrete was a mess.
Yeah.
So the new bridge, so it's using an existing bridge that was repurposed after the flood, that's been stored in a yard over by the wastewater treatment plant. And this bridge is actually in 2 sections. It's so long, and it's so much longer than the original bridge was. So the bridge actually had to be reoriented over the ditch and new abutments put in and then placed. And this is, I don't know if this will play, this is when they were removing, go away.
Oh, cool.
This is like the fun part,
Yeah.
is watching the cranes move things. But yeah, so that was great. And so then they brought in the new bridge, they spliced it, and then they lifted it into place as a single piece. So, yeah. So that is open. And now Roosevelt Park is going to start. It's going to start construction a week from tomorrow. So on the 17th, the day after President's Day. And we anticipate, so that project, the design has been done for a bit, but we were talking to the contractor. It's also a design build. In order to reduce the amount of time the park, that area is closed, we wanted to plan it to end at the planting season. So then you're not holding it up because maybe we still don't know what's going to happen with weather. But this starts on the 17th, and then we're anticipating, without a weather day, it'll be complete by May 1st. They've done all the early procurement, and they're ready to go.
They were putting up the construction. They put up a big sign today to talk
Yeah.
about it. So they kind
That's our new sign standard.
Oh,
Did
is
you
it
like
really?
it?
Yeah.
Yeah. You saw? Okay.
Yeah, our campus attendant came here. Are they supposed to be putting a sign there?
And then some of that sand is actually going to go over to the ice rink. Phil's going to pick that up, and the rest of the sand is going to go to Union at the beach. So we're going to repurpose that.
Great.
And then Nino Gallo. What did you say about Nino Gallo? Yeah, it's not complete. So there was a decision made early on to build this pond that was consistent with the design of all of the ponds in the city. And it was a clay liner. And the pond was filled to 2 feet, and we watched it for 2 weeks, and everything was fine. And so then they filled the pond at the end of irrigation season, and then over the weeks we saw it just go down, down, down. So then they put dye in it to see where it was going, and it was just going everywhere. It wasn't holding water. So we had a couple of options. And you guys were out there, Kevin Bowden with our water team was out there, all of the design team and contractor, talking about options. And we could have it tested and tested and tested and tested and then have it fail again, or we could just pivot and do a liner. So we are going the liner route, as you can see. So they hired a really great couple of contractors that do ponds with liners, and they came in and did it in about 3 weeks. Right here in this photo, they were just finishing up the riprap along the top. But now we'll be set to put the water in as soon as the water's available. So that was a thing. Whenever that happened, we had to make the decision whether to plant or not plant. And so we obviously chose not planting until spring. So that opens us up to planting the middle of April. And so now we're waiting to hear from the nursery to see if the plants will be available. There's always something on this one. But you'll see the dog park is going in, the off-leash dog area. They're getting ready to put the fencing up on the posts, and they've spread the material. The restroom building is nearing completion. The playground is in, and the shelter's in. And it looks like it's going to be a really fun park. We just need to bring it to the end. And it should be open to public at substantial completion right at the end of May, with completion of construction acceptance in June. So hang in there with us, guys. We're going to get that one done.
That was when I got here 10 years ago, my boss at the time said, do you think this can get done by the end of the year? Because it had been started like years before that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, but if you just zoom out and you look at all the other wins for this
Yeah.
year,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's pretty good numbers. One out of forget how many at this point.
It's
That
It
got
has faced a lot of challenges over the
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
delayed.
Yeah. And it's going to be a great
Yes.
park. It's super fun. It has a big hill that they built, and so I didn't get a good photo of that. But you walk up on this hill and you can see the whole Front Range. You're just like elevated, and then as you go down the hill and by the dog park, and then there's a short disc golf course. So a lot of fun things. Access points from all the neighborhoods, and so it'll be great.
Is the pond, so you have a dog park there and a pond, are they?
It's raw water irrigation.
Okay,
It is not for dogs.
right. And is that liner like people will not follow the rules for, or is it gated off the pond, or how do you keep
It's like every pond in every park. So like Kensington, there's a pond.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a pond. And so the riprap
Yeah.
along the top would typically deter people because those are the really big rough rocks,
Mhm.
and there could be like snakes and things in them.
Okay.
So you would have to walk all over that to get in the pond.
Okay.
And there's going to be a sign.
Keep out.
Yeah, keeps out. Don't go on it with the eyes. No fishing, no swimming.
Good question.
Yeah. And then the dog park. So the dog park is currently in the process. We have all of our bids received, and we're in the process of awarding that contract. And then we'll have that schedule.
Yes.
It will have to close while we're doing the renovation.
Yeah.
But that'll make the renovation shorter and not as expensive because of the phased approach. And it's going to be really nice.
Dog owners can be patient. There's another.
There's a really big, this
Dog
group
park.
is it's a great group of dog owners.
Yeah.
They're very passionate.
I agree.
Oops. Rough and Ready Greenway. So this one is getting ready to go out to bid too. The design is now complete, and that is the section of trail from Pace going up to, and that you can see right here. It's asphalt trail against homeowner fences, and so what it's going to become is concrete trail 2 feet off the homeowner fence, and then your typical trail distance. So it's a lot of pushback, from us to the design team to really get this done. And how do you do it and not have to rebuild all the homeowner fences? So we've partnered with a civil engineer on the streets team. He's going to be managing the construction side of this alongside the Pace Street Improvement Project. And so we're leveraging that as kind of packaging the projects together to get some savings in general conditions. And they've already gone through, he and our project manager, and identified all the home fences that may be impacted, and they'll be notified ahead of time. So
Stephanie, pulling it off the fence by, you said 2 feet,
Mhm.
which is great, and we have enough easement
towards the ditch.
towards the ditch
Yeah.
to move there, so great.
Hmm.
So we don't lose any width in our trail system.
No,
Great.
it'll improve the snow removal and things.
It's a rough area.
I imagine property owners would want it to not be right up against their fence line,
Yeah.
but no, maybe not. Okay.
No, it could. I'm sure. I think it varies.
Okay.
There's just
Yeah.
in those older neighborhoods, there's no consistency.
Yes.
It's just
I'm in that neighborhood now.
yeah, it's hard. It's many types of fences.
Okay.
Dry Creek Trail Extension is also going to be going out in Q2, so it'll go out right after the Rough and Ready. It is just so close to the end. I think the last piece is their easements through the mall for the wayfinding. That's just been one of the harder pieces, I think. But Elise on my team is going to handle the construction portion of this project, and it'll run in concurrence with the Sunset and Ken Pratt project. And so Elise with Alex Donaldson on the street engineering team will kind of be partnering to make sure that the two projects work well together from like a traffic control perspective. As far as the trail goes, there isn't really any closure because the trail doesn't exist yet. But it's when it gets to this portion and where it, they put in the road striping to go to Nelson and over to Sunset and how that works with this. So that's where that collaboration will be.
But on the mall side, it's just wayfinding signs.
It's
There's gonna be-
wayfinding.
It's all super narrow.
It's just really tough through the mall area. But it will be better wayfinding, so hopefully don't get lost. Having said that, I haven't seen the wayfinding package because Alex and their team have taken it through design. But we'll have that package. I'm happy to share it with you when we get it.
That'd be great. Thank you.
The other thing, this is out right now on being advertised. We're soliciting a best value approach design build team for Sandstone Phase 4. And those are due March 3rd, I think. March 3rd? That was it. No, it's something like that. The beginning of March. So by the next meeting, we should have an update. And then design would most likely occur through probably most of 26 with construction in 27. And I don't know if it will go into 28, but we'll know once we have our team on board. So we'll say, this is our amount of money we have, these are the things we must do, and these are the things we'd like to do, and then see how much of that we can get. And then with that will be a small amount of money using renewal funds to also replace some of the playground surfacing at the adventure playground and maybe some other components if the money allows to refresh that a little bit, because it's getting kind of tired.
And Jeff's not here to say these are the first ball fields in how many years?
20.
20 few.
Yeah, 20 few.
Yeah. Is any of that construction, do you anticipate impacting the current ball field area? No.
It'll just be the traffic, but it's really further south.
Yeah, it's at the end of that.
And they're going to build a new section of parking. It won't, this is obviously a conceptual design, but the
So they'll
idea
stage
is...
over there type of thing. And,
Yeah, so I think it's opportunities to be pretty isolated. One of the challenges of this site that's been a lot of discussion over the past year is raw water and how to water these fields. And so some creative solutions have been discussed. It's just tough. Water's tough when it needs to be raw. So.
If you're looking for something else to add to your list, if you look at the playground, we get questions all the time. It's what's the best wayfinding for cyclists to get from Sandstone to Spring Gulch? And we have two completely different opinions. So it's when soccer's happening and when soccer's not happening, basically.
Yeah.
But if there was a preferred route of the city or something.
I prefer to go around the playground over the wavy walk
Yeah.
and into
Right.
the tunnel.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really
I
nice.
go
Yeah.
right.
So
I go right after coming
just
out.
to have those people who are just wandering
Uh-huh.
around.
You got to go really slow.
Yeah.
You're right.
I,
Okay.
Yeah.
Everyone has their
I
own
hear
path.
you. Let me.
Okay, yeah,
Let's see
because
if I
like
can
going
give
through the
you
parking
the
lot
things.
is not
Yeah.
Yeah.
the safest option usually either. And it's hard to connect at the handicap ramps. So we just don't want to be in conflict with all of you where we should be telling people to go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We can go offline and
I can show you what he's talking about.
yeah.
I know where to make a right there
Okay.
after coming out of the tunnel and up. You make that first,
Along the split rail fence.
yeah.
Yeah, go around.
And then you go around everything.
But you are by the still between the playground and the shelter.
No, you're on the right side of the playground if you're facing south. So you're coming out of the tunnel up and.
You're on the right side of the playground, but then there's another shelter.
I don't
Where
think
they
so.
have birthdays?
Not on that side. I think you're
Okay.
staying to the right of everything. Anyway,
The split rail fence.
Okay.
I'll look at that some more.
I've gone the
like to
other
see
way
what yours is.
inadvertently a couple times and now I have it down.
So in probably by March, this one will be out. This one is the one that we're prepping now. Another best value approach design build RFP for a Hover Acres Park renewal. So that includes new playground, modifications or replacement of the restroom and shelter, some community engagement to help guide some of the other pieces and components of the project, because there's some amenities here that may or may not be used so much, as well as improvements to the ADA, the accessible routes. A lot of the concrete's out of compliance. So that is coming out, and we'll update everyone when we have those community engagement sessions scheduled. And then, as you guys know, we have the Longmont Indicators Park Rec and Trails Master Plan. What I'd like to point out is, since we presented that to you, we've now added a link on our website that says renewal and reinvestment, see what's happening at your park in Longmont Indicators. And that's on every park page on the internet, or on the website, so yay.
If Sam were here, he'd be excited about that.
Yeah. And then other things that have been great this year is we have now got a digital means to do total park health assessments, which is something that park operations started. And now it's kind of it's a big group effort. And we've also got potentially 2 to 4 interns this summer to help us do all of the assessments. So then we can gather the first bit of data, like with these very enthusiastic kids. Yes, and then we also had received approval for Placer AI visitation tracking data, which can help inform Ben, for instance, of areas of greater trash need and restroom needs than others, and based on where people are, and so that was a pretty big thing for the organization. And then process improvements. So we've now taken on the responsibility, my team, of Memorial Bench and Memorial Brick Program oversight. So that was Lori, our executive assistant, who was doing that. And so Margaret is now our coordinator for all Memorial Bench and Bricks. We've kind of revamped the program and streamlined it a little bit. And so that's all reflected on our website now, as well as park and trail signage. So there's been times where, as you saw in the signs at McIntosh, you need a sign, you make a sign, you put up a sign, and then who's actually overseeing all the signs and where all the signs are going. So once again, Margaret has been assigned the signage coordinator. So she's developed an intake form with our communications and graphics team and a whole SOP for anyone in parks, recreation, or open space that needs external signage, not building signage, to go through this process, and it provides us a little oversight. So you wouldn't know it maybe looking in, but signage is, always a really big thing, and just to have that awareness of what's going has been hopefully helpful.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we'll find out. And then we were working with the Rotary Club of Longmont over 2025 to install a peace pole at Dickens Farm Nature Area, and they did a couple weeks ago. And so now that that's installed, Parks Operations, Jesse, the horticulture supervisor, is working with some of their zone staff to refresh the bed and make it look really nice.
Yep. We have 2 designs, seating areas, pathways to walk in to go look at it. So it'll be done this year.
Nice.
So they've worked so hard on this, and I'm really happy that they got to go install the pole. They got to dig up the hole and everything. They just wanted to do all the parts.
I don't know what a peace pole is. Does that
Well,
make you
there's
that
another one
person?
in town at Kanimoto Park,
Okay.
and that was for how long ago?
Mayor Coombs on his way out wanted that installed. And
Okay.
it's funny because it's just
It's plastic
it's a
pole.
plastic pole, and staff was like, this is getting installed and it's going to get broken within a week.
Yeah.
It is still
It's
there
still there.
like
Been there
8 years
for
later.
many years.
And on each side it says peace in
Yeah.
different languages, and it's in the triangle area at Dickens. Like, you're coming to the parking lot, and then you can go to the bridge, or you can go the other way west. So you can see it from every direction, and it's peace.
In
Just
all languages.
it's in the name. Okay.
Yep.
And then Tatiana, so she's done a lot this year. She likes to be very involved in some of the subcommittees with the city. She completed appreciative inquiry, community engagement. She's very, very involved in community engagement. It's very important to her and her growth. She completed Longmont Leadership Academy, and then her and Lisa Knobloch, our sustainability manager, co-presented at the United States Green Building Council, the Park Cooling Amenities Project at Kensington, Lanyon, and Spangler. And then we rebuilt the team, which was great, and they're all rocking it. So
Yeah.
that's it. You don't get to see any of that.
Any comments or questions from the board on this topic? Yeah, nice job.
I have to make a comment, sorry.
Oh no,
I
please.
just-
Yeah, you can.
I just,
Or staff.
yeah, I'm always super impressed with the work that this group does. I know it's a lot sometimes to sit here, we broke it up to give you guys a chance, because I do feel like this is a group that likes to nerd out a little bit in the details, but this has been a huge growth that the city really has invested in. I mean, when I got here, there was 2 project managers and they were doing everything. So sometimes we kind of wonder why we didn't get things done, but the city invested in it. Stephanie, you saw how big her team is, putting a manager in charge of that. And then also Stephanie working with Ben so that we're building stuff that we can maintain. Because it was, people come from college with a degree on what looks great and what works really well on AutoCAD. And then Ben and the Parks team gets out and like, how do we manage this, maintain it, take care of it, do the irrigation. So it's just been a great collaborative effort between the 2 teams to make sure we're building stuff that is the best we can do with the dollars we have, and then something we can maintain long term. So I've just been really impressed with this group.
Absolutely. Yeah, 2025 was a great year, and there's a new team that's relatively new, and so I'm sure there's some onboarding that happens, and
It caused about 6 months delay in 25 on the, like Hover Acres. We'd really wanted to get that out before the end of the year, but
Yeah.
we just couldn't. We continued everything that was actively underway during our reduction in staff, and then we didn't start anything new until the team was like brought back up. So.
right.
And that depth also gives the ability to do things like mapping projects and work really well with our GIS folks, and that time piece in it helps a lot. The partnership with REC, the whole bench and memorial brick thing, it was a process that was stuck in I don't know what decade, but people had to come in with a check for the right amount, made out the right amount if they didn't have it, or we didn't take credit cards. So Recreation stepped in with Rec Track, and now people can just pay online.
That's great. I just meant more so, we can really pick up steam and accelerate even faster in 2026 because one point of feedback was I love the team growth and certification slide. I know that's something that Tatiana did awesome, but I think that's really helpful too to see how the team is growing, developing. So just thank you for adding that in the response. Yeah, thank you, Dave.
Is there?
David,
should we bring something up for?
No, never
Yeah,
mind. I'm sorry.
I sent an
You
email
were-
to everybody.
I was gonna
who's-
say something, but
Who's
no.
logged in?
Okay.
You should have it in your
Hannah
email.
and Brandy.
No, I mean,
Oh, I
who's
am,
on?
but I can't get on email on this computer.
Darn it. Okay. Then.
Hannah, did you have your copy of what
Yes.
Ben sent?
Yes, I
Do you
do.
need
Oh.
pen and print out? Do you want me to
Can
print it?
Can you
Could
share it?
share?
I've got.
Yeah, we got.
Can I share it?
Yeah.
We need your help. Actually,
Yes. Present this.
are you allowed to share on this account?
They should. They should be.
We'll
able to.
find out.
Not the
I've
They
never
sure
done
should.
it.
admin.
I've never done it.
I don't know why you wouldn't,
Share. I have to send a
Allow.
request.
Yeah.
Yep, we can allow that.
Mhm.
Okay, one sec. This screen. Share. So I'm used to Teams, so this is confusing.
There we go.
They're perfect, thank you.
Okay,
Great, thanks, Hannah.
Okay.
that works.
Yeah, that works.
Okay.
And we got copies here.
We're on to budget with Ben.
Well, this is actually we're just gonna go group by group here.
Oh,
And
okay.
so everybody's gonna talk just a little bit about what they have. The idea here in general has been to frustration over the last few years since I've been here for sure, and probably before that,
Exactly, yeah.
of the horse is out of the barn and gone with budget by the time we tell you what's in budget, and not really an ability to understand in advance some of the things that are coming, some of the ideas we have, and get some feedback. And so what we've asked everybody is to put down some things they're planning on or things that are maybe outside the norm, to bring those up, talk about them a little bit today, let you guys stew on them. We're going to talk about this again then next time, and we may, based on feedback today, we might come back even a little refined. We'll see. This is a first time try for this, so we'll see how it goes. So I think we can start with Danielle, because her stuff's first there.
Okay. I can't get this pen to open, so I have to use this. Yeah, okay, well, thanks, Prad, for the opportunity to talk to you early in the year about some of the things that that would affect budget. So I wrote down 2, but I have 3. So quickly, first, the Open Space Division is looking to update our master plan. The last time it was updated was 2018, and there have been just, I want to say, massive changes to our division in terms of how we've grown and what we're looking at doing and our outlook and everything. So as a guiding document, we'd like to update the open space master plan. And to do that, we would want to take this to City Council and appropriate dollars to be able to fit that program into the plan for 2026. That's one. 2, we're interested in getting additional staff because we're at capacity with all the things we want to do. If you remember, a lot of the open space staff was here last time, and they talked to you about various projects that are going on, and we're going to be here again next month doing what Stephanie and Ben have just done to give you some more detail, but that'll help you understand why we're looking to potentially bring on another project manager for our team in 2026, which again, if we did that in 2026, we would need to go to City Council to appropriate funding, as opposed to planning for it in the 2027 budget, asking for it this year, maybe getting it next year. We have so much going on that we want to do it now. And I welcome any feedback about any of the things I'm saying, or any feedback or questions. And then finally, this is my fault. There's a misspelling in this item 2. Continuing to formalize our partnership with the Northern Arapaho, shouldn't be an either, and the Wind River Reservation. They are our sister city. So we have a relationship, the city, with the Northern Arapaho, and in 2026, Open Spaces Volunteer Stewardship Program, so Taylor, Taylor and Ashley did a really successful traditional foods program last year, where we harvested and then ended up canning and sending choke cherries up to the reservation in Wyoming. And there was an educational component to it. And then after speaking with tribal elders, they really would like to grow this program, make it happen year over year. And there's other partners that were involved to make it happen. So Community Fruit Rescue, we couldn't have done the canning and making of the jam to get it up to the reservation and get it to homebound elders and the food bank without them, as well as wildland restoration volunteers. So that was harvesting the choke cherries, co-planning the volunteer events.
And the Fruit Rescue has a commercial kitchen, I take it, is why we were able to do that?
Yes, and so then in 2026, this was really successful, but in terms of communicating about it and marketing ourselves, we went a little under the radar. So we want, or in 2025. So as we grow this, we want to work with our comms staff and get this out there in our community, so that they know that we're doing this and that we want to grow this. And then it takes funding to work with the Northern Arapaho, because they when we do this programming down here and we want them to come down here, there's a cost to that. And so looking for ways to fund this as we look to grow it, and maybe sponsors, just so those are the three things for open space.
Great. Any feedback from Brandy or Hannah, or just through me here?
I guess I have a couple of things real quick. Sorry. I'm excited to hear you're thinking about doing the redoing the open space plan. That's exciting, and I know it's a bit out of date. Have you identified funds in 26 to do that, or is it something you're going to be looking to ask for funds in 27 to do?
It's something we'd like to appropriate funding in 2026 and do it in 2026. We held a staff retreat in late 2025 to look at that. And we spent a little funding on having consultants guide us through that process to just look at where we could go with our master plan update. And the resounding result was yes, as soon as possible, 2026 if possible.
And I just think it's really important. I'm sorry, Hannah, I was going to say just on that, I think it's important too for the fact, again, I go back to our community voting to tax themselves, to have the open space funded in perpetuity, and making sure that if we're doing all these new projects, it's in alignment with what the community is wanting to do, and council understands that as well.
Right, exactly. To Hannah's point, it's out of date.
Right.
And so, what we're doing and what the community wants, and having the opportunity to go out to the public and talk to the public again and get that codified in an updated plan just really, we think, makes a lot of sense now.
Yeah,
So-
I appreciate that. Plans are only good if you update them. I'm sorry, one more quick question, and then I'll be
Okay.
done. Similarly to the project manager position, so you say you want to bring the position on 26 through, appropriation, which I understand. Would the intention for it to be like term limited, or would you also be planning to make it permanent through like budget requests in 27? Like this project manager, do you have it in like short-term plan to do it for the comprehensive update? Or do you want to make this a permanent position?
It's possible that the best way to approach it would to be to start with a term position if we're looking to appropriate dollars and we're approaching council and we're identifying some of the citywide projects that really need support, like the St. Vrain Greenway Regional Trail, the land space project that we talked about last month when we were here. But then I don't anticipate that we're gonna have less work in 3 years or 5 years. So it would be looking to have a permanent position ultimately.
Okay, thank you. I'm done now. Thanks.
Thanks, Hannah. Scott.
How historically has council been to being open to funding new positions mid-year?
I think it depends on the position, the reason, the fund. I think a lot goes into that. And before open space could take something like this would be something that we would, first we're here. This is the very first, brush at this, and then it would be speaking with our city manager's office and explaining our reasoning and explaining why, we think this is an appropriate use of the fund dollars, and getting any questions asked and answered in this forum would be helpful too to then take to them.
Yeah, I think mid-year it's really tough with the general fund, but with the open space that has this ongoing budget piece right now, I think just being able to explain the fact that trying to align this talk about all the great stuff this group did. I mean, that's my biggest challenge is trying to slow this group down to say we have processes in the city we have to go through and stuff, but it's just really all the work we have and we can do, and I think it'd be a waste not to take the opportunity to use those funds that we have to really start this project in 26 rather than just arbitrarily waiting for a budget cycle. So that's what Danielle is trying to work with Harold and city manager on, trying to figure out how we can make this happen.
Because it would bring, ultimately, we would be able to grab grant dollars that we're missing right now to fund these huge projects like land space, like the St. Vrain Greenway, like the final section, the 12, that would get us from our system into Boulder County system to the west, Golden Ponds to Pella, so if we have that capacity to do that, it's a win monetarily for the community.
Okay, good. Yeah, I think my question was going to go into general fund hires versus special fund
Right.
hires, and so
Yep.
I think that's more the angle to play.
Exactly.
One of the benefits to the fund specifically for that hire, is a multiplier effect,
Yep.
right? So
Exactly. Write that down.
Thank you.
Keep it recorded, right? Yeah.
The next one, Jim Crick mentioned he had one thing to add on, so, and you can maybe check with him.
Do you want
know
to say
what
this?
he's
Danielle,
talking about
Danielle
there?
can.
Cover
Yeah,
that,
Danielle can.
Kind of like
Seems-
Yes.
Parks Development and Parks Operations and Maintenance are sort of sister divisions. Ecosystem Management and Open Space are sort of sister divisions. So Jim is wanting to add the component of soil surveys to his land survey plan or land service plans efforts that he is looking to do on open spaces and other lands that his division manages throughout the city. So, and so that's looking at the land and the restoration and what's there currently and how disturbed is it and what should be planted there. So ecological restoration over time, the soil surveys is a component that he's looking to fold in.
Yep. And again, like Danielle mentioned, it's these support groups like Ben's and Parks. I mean, really, Stephanie's building the parks and really supporting that, but also the right-of-ways and the public-facing buildings, anything outside the envelope of building, they take that on as well. Jim's group does a lot of work for open space, but also is doing, if it's raw land on a landfill or storm drainage or streets, they're supporting that too. So those support groups do a lot of work, not only in this room, but throughout the city as well.
Any feedback from the group, Hannah, Brandy, Scott, Sarah?
No.
Maybe one question on that was just like, would they be soil surveys, plural, but is there a particular area that we're fixed on, or is it just...
Well, as his team bites off the ecological restoration planning for an area, so that could be an open space, it could be a group of open spaces. It's typically property by property, but not everything is an open space in his world.
Okay.
It would go along with the planning for that property. So it could be the Boulder Creek Estates open space.
It could
And
be
the
the
ecological
landfill.
restoration for that
Right.
needs to be done, including soil survey, because then when you're planting and doing things over time in the first year, third year, 5 year, 10 year, if you know what's going on with the soils in various parts of the larger 200 acres, over here you've got a wetland, over here you've got an upland, you've got a transitional zone. If you have a deeper understanding of the soils plus the ecosystems, then you're going to get, you're more headed towards success because
Okay.
you've got more information for planning.
Great. Thank you.
Well, I think, I'm not going to speak for Ben, but he's on a bit of a wash, rinse, and repeat cycle. That's why we don't have a bunch of maybe new things. You want to speak to that a little bit? That
Was it?
well, from last year, we didn't get everything.
Yeah. So yeah, Ben had asked me earlier. I missed his emails, but anyways, long story is that yes, we're just asking for basically similar things to last year that wasn't approved. So 2 positions in the DDA Kaufman area that would greatly help us with all the work that's added down there. And then, additional contracting dollars for other small projects, throughout the whole area. And then just your general increases, but that's just standard things. But the main one is positions, or we have a quote back on hiring all that out. And it's funny because it's almost to the $10,000 of what I asked for 2 people for parks. It's almost the exact amount to hire that out. So it's like either you contract it out or you hire staff for parks. But so I'll be asking that again this year.
It's a mantra for myself, Jeff Friesner says it, and I had a chance to sit down with Jen Newton for the first time, and she says the same thing. It's hard for all of us to say too, but we just feel like we should not be building stuff unless we can maintain it. And we really need to be honest with council and the public that if we're going to build something, we need to have the funds to maintain the facilities we have.
Do you have a preference on hiring or contracting it out as far as for your management of that? Or is it,
There's positives and
right.
negatives with each one,
Mm-hmm.
but I'd like to have staff here because they could also absorb part of the other area, and then you could rearrange some people and you have more capacity to do things. If you hire it out, it's strictly that and that, that alone.
Yeah, staff increases capacity, and I'm just going to tell you, I think we've since I've been here, been trying to find that balance on where we can get the best contracting return for the dollars. But city staff just has a vested interest in our properties.
Right.
Contractors jump out, they mow, they hit a fence, they hit a sign, they mow over the bag of dog poop that someone just left there, and then they just load up and they go. Where staff is going to take the time to really be invested in our park system. So I have a little bit of a kind of bias for hiring staff for some of these, especially ongoing long-term maintenance positions.
Pretty high public use in areas like Kaufman and
Right.
the DDA. And those are areas we want to have, kind of a higher standard of maintenance.
Mowing the medians on 3rd Avenue where they can jump on their mowers and go up and down, I'm
Or
fine with the
Clean
contractors.
the
doing that.
restrooms.
Oh, do you want to talk
Nobody
about
wants
that?
to clean the restrooms, right? That's one of the worst jobs out there. So you hire a company and they do it all of them in one day, all 65 restrooms, and they're gone. Actually, some of them twice a day. So they're able to do that, 7 days a week. You don't have to have people work on the weekends.
Right.
So that type of model, it works really well. But
Okay.
but other areas that you want to have higher public use and higher quality product, try to hire out.
It's also seasonal too, because contractors, you can pay them for the season that they're
Right.
needed.
Yep, so snow removal,
Yeah.
those kind of things is great.
But specifically, the ask was it the 2 FTEs?
Mhm.
Okay, just
Yeah.
wanted to make sure I was very
Yeah.
clear on what the actual ask is. Okay.
Yep.
Great.
So we're gonna, in the operating budget this year, request to revise the Parks, Recreation and Trails Master Plan. So that was last updated in 2014. And in addition to that, we want to include the rec programming as a component within that master plan. So right now my team's gathering information and cost estimates from consultants to see what that ask is. We don't have any, it's going to be a request from the bucket that everybody else wants money from. So that is what it is. But we had made the Longmont indicators, uploaded our plan, and shown our completion against the plan. So this will be our first go at potentially getting approval and support to updating it.
And that was something that, again, Nick, you kind of mentioned all the great work we've done, that when we first looked to do the Parks, Trails, and Open Space Master Plan, it was, why are we updating a master plan when we haven't finished what we were asked to do? And I think that, like you say, with the indicators, we really could go back and show we've done a lot of this. So now really, again, we want that community input on what's next.
We really do want the input. And,
Yes.
and I think we're at a point, we've built out enough of the new, and we've spent that bucket, the park improvement fund for the new parks, which had stockpiled for so long, which allowed us to build these new parks. We need that fund to build up a little bit after Sandstone. So looking ahead to the next CIP, we have a couple challenges. The master plan not being in the CIP, but operational. But we've got Pro 83, trails, gaps, and I know where the gaps are. It's like, what's the priority? And so that's a conversation we want to have. Because what we had planned, which had been in the CIP previously, was there's the Trend Homes Trail, which something has to be done with. Are you familiar with that one?
I read that. I don't know
Yeah.
where the Trent Trail is.
What are the cross streets?
It's
I'm not as good at the cross streets.
it's
up-
east of Alpine.
It's east of the Rough and Ready, west of the Rough and Ready.
Yeah,
It has the ditch.
Yeah.
It's between Alpine and Pace, and between 9th and Mountain View.
It has the ditch. I
Okay.
sent you a photo actually yesterday in the Bike Longmont response. Anyway,
okay.
so that is a trail that it either something needs to happen, but right now, if you're on the concrete trail, you could literally just fall into the ditch with your kid on a bike, behind you. And so we're looking at doing an engineering assessment to see what potential solutions for that trail could be. So that was going to be in our Pro 83 CIP for 27, as well as that section of trail between 21st and Main and Lanyon Collier Street, where it has like the dirt section and the alley and then the bad bridge.
Mm-hmm.
So the streets team is working on the intersection of 21st and Main, and then they're looking at what it would take to use one of our bridges to reorient the bridge. So then as you're coming west on Oligarchy Trail, and you can make a better, instead of the up and around and back.
Okay.
But there's some challenges with that on the engineering side that project managers alerted us to, but we could still at least make the trail like a full trail. Now the alley is still the alley, but putting in bollards and then filling in the dirt part. That would be for 27. I'm aware of the gaps south of McIntosh Lake as you're going into Hover Acres and trying to cross 17th and the Longmont supply ditch area. So it's like, what is the priority, And that's where master planning could really help inform some of these next things that we focus on, as well as next new parks. So once the coffers are kind of getting up to build up a little bit more in the park improvement fund for new parks, the next new neighborhood park could be West Grange Neighborhood Park. But is there a need for that right now? Does anyone want that park? It's directly west of Dry Creek Community Park. Then there's Sisters Park, which we just built the detention pond on, which is next to Nino Gallo Park, which is south of the Innovation Center. In 2033, we could potentially have enough to build 50% of that park. So what is that park? We haven't even master planned that park. So all of these conversations, which aren't really addressed in the master plan. But I guess looking ahead at, that's the new park pieces. The park renewals, our challenge is going to be the Park and Greenway Maintenance Fund and the lack of funding in that, because it's funding 2 or 3 of your positions right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're still trying to work through that challenge and getting support to move positions or increase the rate in utility bills, or something needs to give, because that's been the same rate, with the exception of during the flood, I think, or COVID, the same rate since early 2000s. And we have a lot more park acreage now that you're maintaining with no more money.
Yeah, the $2 has been consistent. The extra $2 was really just for flood recovery, so that didn't go to parks at all. So it's been consistently $2 as prices and everything has gone up in our system.
And we're just adding capacity to
And
the
acreage.
system, but we're not adding support to the system. So according to asset life cycle only, the next park renewals, so looking at 27-28, would be Flanders Neighborhood Park, and then doing this year actually starting an engineering assessment on Clark Centennial to develop a phased approach that we could take in sections each year, because the scope of the work is so high, we would struggle to have that much money in one year. So those are all the things we're kind of thinking about right now, which can kind of think about and come back with more questions.
Any feedback from Hannah, Brandy? We'll do them first. Questions? If no, that's okay.
I think it'd be interesting. I can't quite remember like your life cycle assessment. I know you have like scoring of which park is supposed to come next based on life cycle assessment, or you had somebody presented on some scoring. I guess when you say Flanders Neighborhood Park as next, it would be interesting to know like on what metrics.
It's I'm only saying that from a life cycle perspective. What hasn't been weighed into that is total park health, which is condition rating, as well as visitation data.
Yeah.
And that's the piece with the interns this summer. They're going to go around and gather this information on the parks that we prioritize based on their age and their life cycle needs.
Yes.
In the meantime, CIP comes before the summer, so we just need to make an educated guess. I think what it's going to come down to is how much money can we possibly get for park renewal, and then what's the best way to use it.
Great.
Right, and staff is, you have enough information probably to understand what is coming next. Okay, thank you for the total health. I couldn't remember the difference between those two things, so I appreciate you talking to how they interact.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Any feedback from Scott or Sarah? Okay. Great.
On to recreation. Made a little caveat, if something does happen with YMCA, and we don't really have a new update for you guys yet.
Can you give me, sorry,
Discussions.
one little background?
We're in some negotiations with the YMCA to purchase and operate it.
Okay.
And that's kind of where we're at.
Okay.
I will say, related to that, as of today, we found out that they have told their staff that they are closing. So that's out there in the public. March 1st, I think, is their day. And don't quote me on that for sure, because I didn't see that. But that's been what we had heard. So they're going to be closing, and their staff are reaching out to us, and we're like, we always hire lifeguards, so you're most welcome to come to us. And I just don't have a lot else to add at that one right now.
No.
Anyway.
Just as background, I think that's really kind of where it's at, is that they approached us, the YMCA approached us, they knew they were gonna close, and they wanted the city to see if we could step in and help out. We've approached council, and council's given us ability to, continue to negotiate, but that's really all we have right now.
Yeah. So in recreation, some things we have coming up, and we had asked for this last year. It didn't make it into the actual yes or no on budget part. Is a city event supervisor position. We are blessed to have Sam Calhoun, who many of you know. She's been here. She's amazing, and we believe she can do more. And but not just by moving her up. She would need people to work for her to expand her scope, and we believe she could do a lot. And there's a lot of love for this position in the city, just not a lot of dollars. So that's what we're looking towards. Athletic grounds maintenance tech, that's with the opening of, we'll keep planning on Sandstone. That would be an additional athletic maintenance person for that. And also having had Dry Creek Park added on, that's been an additional burden for the same staff, kind of like Ben and his guys are facing, same idea. In aquatics, we have a 5-year plan to address leaks and relining of many pipes underneath several pools. We've had leak issues at the recreation center. We've had leak issues, different sorts of leak issues, but leak issues at Centennial. What we found is this new system that we've been using at the rec center as of just this last year, where they coat with a poly that makes the basically rebuilds that pipe from the inside out, makes it stronger, should last, I don't know, 20, whatever they say, 20, 30 years longer. We're planning on doing that to as many pipes as we can get to do it. We feel like that's a really good system to address cracks, address actual leaks, address potential future leaks. So that's something we're going to be doing and planning on. 4th of July fireworks funding, I guess I can speak to that now since it's part of it. I'm going to be talking to council tomorrow night. We're going to be talking about the 250, 150 bicentennial, centennial celebration, and then Kiwanis has stepped away, so we need some funding for fireworks that we don't have. We have what we're looking at is doing, and we had planned this idea for a while, based on some guidance, that trying to spread out how we do events into some different areas to look to increase some revenue so we can do more. And one of our main ideas is to do a concert on the 3rd that would be a paid-for concert. So I'm going to present that to council tomorrow night. That would pay for fireworks and hopefully beyond that more things. We're big on free events, so this is delving into some different waters for us. But we feel like we can build the pie, that we can take those dollars and then do more than what we're doing now, including paying for the fireworks. It's just this year we weren't necessarily planning on Kiwanis stepping away, so we didn't budget for it. So we will be actually asking for that in budget also. gonna ask again for minivan replacement to put a 12-passenger day camp. We did add the new day camp, which you guys had heard about in the last cycle. We're about 50% full on the first day of that one. Our main day camp, all the week-long sessions filled up in 15 minutes. Between the two, we brought in this 7 days, we brought in 6 days, we brought in $226,000 in revenue, which was like 3 times as much as we brought in last year. So that's doing what we expect, and we're getting one van, but if we can replace the minivan with a 12 passenger, just makes it more flexible. And maybe for events too. We're figuring that one out. We're gonna be looking at deciding what to do with the Memorial Building playground. I don't know if that's going to be a budget request or it's something that we work with current CIP PBF 145, which we do have some dollars in. Just waiting for Jeff to retire on that one, and it's a joke. He wants one thing, I want another thing, but we need to do something. That little playground area just outside Memorial Building we're going to take all that away, that stuff this year. It's not safe to be on, so we're going to do that no matter what this summer, and then figure out what we might want to do. Looking at a sound replacement system for Memorial Building. It's very, very old, doesn't work well in the gymnasium. Recreation center is due for some free weight equipment replacement. A big one is moving some money around. We'll probably ask for this one as a one-time to working with Ben on scoreboard replacement at Garden Acres. It's just time. They have not lasted as long as I would have hoped when we replaced them. I feel like it was only 12 years ago, and you really should get 20 years out of a scoreboard, so that's disappointing. But they need it. And portable fitness stage at the rec center we're looking to replace, and some benches. So that's kind of some of the things we have going on. Any questions or thoughts on any of those?
And Brandy, any feedback on recreation? Asks. Scott?
No,
Sarah?
all sounds good.
Okay.
Anything that you guys, so take this with you. You guys think of, if you guys think of things, if you got something you see, that's what we want to hear about. So feel free to bring it today, mention any thoughts you have, bring it for the next meeting. You always can email us too, but I'm going to look to update this a little bit based on what happens in the next month. And then we would come back to you guys and kind of have this conversation just a little bit more based on any feedback you guys might have. So, any ideas now?
Yeah, I just reiterate what Ben said. This is just an attempt really to give you guys a chance to look and say, hey, that looks like a pretty good plan. Or why would you be thinking about doing that now? Or why didn't you think about something else? And I think those are just kind of things we're trying to give you a little more opportunity to provide some input.
I think our feedback to city staff is helpful, but we also we're an advisory board, and our role is to advise city council on what the needs are. So we could also, if it's beneficial, to make a recommendation to city council on specific needs. If that's something that would.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that's I'm just going to tell you is a little bit sensitive in the fact that we appreciate you guys and we recognize you bring a voice from the community. Each one of you are representing demographics that we really appreciate. Your own giving you this input is great. I think there's that line between us using you as our advocates versus you saying, yeah, this is something that we support.
Oh, absolutely.
So I think it's just a piece we
We're
want to make
bringing
sure.
the voice of the public.
Yep,
No,
exactly.
no, that's not what I meant at all.
No, I know. I just
Okay.
want to say for us as staff, I appreciate 100% what you said.
Yeah.
I see Ben nodding the whole time, and I think it's just
I
you
think
as
I
a
mean more
as a board.
procedurally, right? If we
Yep.
want to succeed here,
Exactly.
I mean, I would like to do all of these things
I know, that's-
all at once. But I think what we can do as a board as well is next month come to the table. Maybe we pick our favorite 3, each individual. I mean, that might be something we can look at, and then talk notes about.
Yeah,
What
I
are the
think that's-
themes about? What is something that's really, and of course, opportunities to add additional things that are
Right.
not on this list if they come up. But maybe that's our homework. I put that out there. as a board to think of our top 3 within, whether it's this list or other things that we have not talked about, and share those and have a discussion around that. And
Yeah,
then if we decide,
Yep. However you want to do it, I think it's great because I'm going to say the same in the same sort of vein. I think we've gotten to the point we've got it because we've had very engaged, active boards that have helped councils understand what's important to this community. So it's that.
I think our cycle CIP goes in
Yep.
mid-April, right? By
Yep.
like April 10th
Yeah.
ish. And then the line item stuff is in May. But so there's still some time after the March meeting, but that again is in advance. So even if we have some things after March that you guys think up, at least you guys have been able to look at some things and we've talked about it. So that's our goal.
all right.
Okay.
Anything else?
No, I think that's great.
Can I ask a I'm sorry, can I ask a clarifying question I might have missed? I understand the comment you made about like balancing, us advocating for you versus recommending whatever. Are you looking, I love Nick's idea, come with ideas, maybe suggestions or top 3 or whatever, but is it something staff actually wants a recommendation from this body?
I think that's what.
Or either CIP?
Yeah, I think is even you talk about the top 3, but if you look at this, like we think this is a great piece, but add these 2 things or knock this one off and do it, and we support staff recommendation. I think those would be fine for you all to weigh in that way.
So perhaps an actual vote for recommendation. Okay, I just wanted to clarify procedurally what you might be looking for come March. Okay, thank you.
Ben, did that?
Yeah.
Feel like that's a good way to do it?
Yeah, I think that
All right.
wraps it up.
Great. And we can, leave it at that.
Close on time.
All right. We have 2 minutes, which is may or may not be enough time. Were there any updates from the items from the packet from the board that we wanted to bring up or had questions on? Starting with the room. I'm looking at Scott because he often has some.
No, I don't.
Oh,
Wow.
okay. Sarah, did you have anything in the packet that you saw that you had questions on?
Not really questions, but last time we talked about the donor engagement piece on the rec site and like rounding up your purchase on when you register for something.
Oh, yeah.
And recently I'd registered for a couple of different like hockey activities, and one thing I noticed was they're all even dollar amounts. So
Yeah,
you can't.
I have chastised and chastised. That is a work in progress.
Okay, so I don't know if it's a possibility, as I obviously don't know your software or whatever, but an option to be like, not just round up, but add $1,
Right.
add $5, something like
Is
that.
it a
Yeah.
rec track piece or is it a staff?
It's the reason they're even dollars is because they're not listening to me.
Oh.
The reason, the second part though, as far as doing more, we're hoping that the possibility,
Right,
and
yeah.
we're going to talk more about rec track at some
Okay.
point here coming up.
Mhm.
That might be in there.
Good.
So there might be an opportunity.
I thought it was, as a user too, a little confusing since you have the credit card fee, though it doesn't round that fee. So
Yeah, there's probably no way to
yeah,
alter that.
right. And I had I saw your note about Vasa Fitness being kind of a potential new competitor. I've personally heard a lot about Vasa Fitness, been invited to go try it several times. And I noticed on their, website they have like try a fitness class for free, bring a friend, get them in the door. I didn't know if you start to see that. I know you had notes about, you have to wait a couple months to see what the actual trend is, but if you do see that, I didn't know if that was, on your radar of
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
somebody in the
absolutely.
door for a
We believe we
specific
are seeing an
activity.
effect from them.
Yeah.
We believe that in January we're seeing an effect from them. Usually when we raise prices, which not the best time to raise prices honestly, but we did on February 1st. The month before we sell a lot of passes, and we sold 35,000 more than we did a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
That number probably should be double that. Probably should be 70 to 100,000 more than we did a year ago. And we think it's a lot because of Vasa.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the Y is going to represent an opportunity no matter what happens if they close. And so we're gonna be approaching that one. So we're hoping to see a push there, and you'll hear more about that.
Great.
Can I ask a question off of your question? Do we know what Voss's, we looked at the building services cost and what Voss's build out was for that, for their,
How much they cost?
for their facility?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'd be interested to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's a lot.
Do you know something,
Yes.
No,
Stephanie?
but I just
I don't
noticed
know
that they're like in all the city, like going down 287.
Oh, they're,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
all the like
they're
old city
huge
buildings.
capital.
Yeah.
Huge capital.
It is.
Yeah. You know, I think, you know, me learning kind of the rec side, I think this is the first time that, you know, Ben and Jeff have really kind of shared that this really is potential competition. You know, the Gold's Gyms and those other sort of,
They're different.
they're different. And,
Yeah.
and the YMCA is even different sort of
But yeah,
user
them
group.
having
And
a sauna, steam room, and lab plane
There's
pool,
four
it
lanes.
covers more of what we can cover that other places couldn't. And that's the difference really is those things. Now, they don't have our fun pool and things like that. We're not worried about families, but individuals and couples, absolutely.
All right, I do see, Brandy, your hand raised, but real quick, we do need to extend the meeting before we start with you, Brandy. Is there a motion to extend the meeting 15 minutes?
I'll make a motion to extend the meeting.
Thanks, Scott.
15
Second.
minutes.
I'll second.
Oh,
Brandy's got second. All those in favor? All right. Okay, great. Okay, Brandy, shoot.
Just kind of piggybacking off of all of that, I went and did the 30-day rec center pass. It's been great. Love everything about it. But I did notice that it's not easy to set up on auto pay. Like you have to pay for the 30-day couple membership each time. And I'm just wondering if that could be a potential, like,
That's a different
Yeah.
pass, Brandy.
okay.
So a 30-day is a 30-day pass. It's a one thing. A monthly auto pay is actually a completely different pass.
Oh,
So you're not,
okay.
and it's just a different pass. So I'm not sure what you're looking at. If you want to give me a call, I can either help you
Yeah.
through or give you to somebody who's much smarter than myself on those to
No,
help
I
you
think
through.
that's great because I was trying to look for the monthly pass and it was maybe user error, but it was hard for me to find.
And I am
so
not-
let me
I-
look again.
I'm not 100% sure we can do the auto pay online, like you can actually do the whole process.
Oh.
I don't actually know that, but we do have some news with Rec Track that we'll be covering. That's good news here. I hope coming up here in the next month or two. But yeah, give me a call or take a look at it again, and then give me a call. We can work through that.
Okay, that sounds good. I was just thinking as another way of what those gyms do, they're really good at the auto pay thing, and
Yep.
so that
The,
Yeah.
the auto pay is interesting because 10 years ago it was huge, but now because everybody gets their credit cards hacked so often, we see a lot less auto pays because you get their credit card hacked and all of us have you got to go through the 50 things that you have to redo, and so a lot
Yeah.
of times choose to do it differently now, which is just interesting. We still have a lot of them.
Great. Hannah and Brandy, were there any other items in the packet that you wanted to raise?
I don't have anything.
Okay.
Me
Brandy.
neither.
All right. Great. Okay, that was everybody, right? Sorry, you get to.
Oh, I actually have one other question.
Please.
Sorry.
Okay.
The pool at the rec center, I filled out the survey for which one I wanted. I can't remember when that came out or how I even found it, but I was curious how many people respond to those surveys when you send them out, and
We had a couple hundred, I think.
okay,
People
And
don't
how-
remember the exact number.
how do you spread those out? Like, I don't even remember how I got it, so I don't know how I filled it out.
Online, at the front desk, and QR code. So those are kind of
Okay.
the three ways we go about doing that. I mean, people at the rec center, that's really going to be our biggest pool where
Okay,
they see the sign and they see a QR code and they'll go on and do it.
okay,
Would be where we get most of those.
Mhm.
So we'll have news on that pretty soon. We're at the hopefully signing point of a contract. So
Perfect.
fingers crossed.
awesome. Yeah, that's all I had.
Great. Nice. All right. Items from staff.
I
I
covered
think there
all my
was.
stuff.
I think there was maybe one.
I covered it. Was the 4th of July thing. So
Okay.
I'm good.
All right. Items from the board.
I just have a quick question on picnic shelter costs. I think when Ben was bringing it up on the trash sort of side, are we tying cost to the price? Because I think what I remember is that it went up in price, but it may not be
It
dictated
doesn't.
on
It
cost.
doesn't really come close to covering costs. I think we try to get a little revenue back on that, but I don't think we've really done a true study on what it would really cost to do that. We definitely want to have it accessible to the community, so we're trying to strike that balance.
And whether we rent it or not, the trash cans
Right.
will follow.
Yeah.
So.
They definitely get, when they get rented, it takes extra work. We try to cover that, but we definitely don't want to put up barriers that people can't use it for the birthday parties and stuff, so.
In the world of VRBO and Airbnbs, do we require that you can't use like confetti or something at a place? I had somebody at Thompson Park come to me and be like, the city should be charging for these people who have confetti at their parties. I'm like, I will bring that up, but I don't.
There's so many things like that. Bank probably can tell you all the things they're supposed not to do, but we don't have a good follow-up mechanism.
We have a rules and reg on it, and I'll see if, I'm sure there's something either confetti-like or related.
Right, but there's no consequence though.
We
right?
have
deposit.
we can hold, we can go back to people. We've charged people for things when we can. Proving it,
Right.
Yeah, that's exactly
still
what
possible because there are no cameras. So was it them? Was the people right
after
them?
And we've talked even about, it's a tough piece because it drives me crazy too, that really requiring people when they show up, take a picture, when they leave, take a picture, or you don't get your deposit back either, so.
Okay, that's what I was gonna ask.
Yep.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
There are a lot of rules in that actual rental agreement that Ben's staff works on, but I can't remember off the top of my head. I thought there was language in there about it had to be biodegradable or like
Yeah, there's
break
certain
down with water. So as our sprinklers water,
Right.
it would kind of dissolve out there.
Microplastics.
Yeah.
And Rochelle will try to talk. When they go through her, they don't always go through her. You can do this online on a lot of them, but some of the bigger ones they have to go through her. And based on what they're doing, she has a lot of experience, at least trying to help them understand what's okay and what's not too. So we have lots of things in place, but it's a tough deal.
Yeah. Okay.
I like the picture before and after idea.
Mhm.
Yeah,
and
it's
then we gotta
Hard to.
I know, there's
check
yeah.
it.
then you have to have a whole online system.
AI can
cameras,
do it.
cam-
AI can
cameras
do
at
it.
cameras at the park. So it's just something we're cameras at the park.
Exactly.
That's,
They're
we're working
confetti
on
in
those
this.
long term.
Yeah.
It's made of plastic.
All right, great.
Thanks.
Brandy, Hannah, anything you want to bring up?
None that I can think of.
All right.
Nope.
Then we can move to adjournment. Who wants to take us away to adjourn?
It's your turn.
I don't know what I'm supposed to
You
do.
make a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Great. All those in favor?
It looks like Danielle's ready to jump in a minute.
All
She's
those
like,
in
all right,
favor?
you guys.
Yeah. Okay, we are adjourned. Okay.
I just want to be like